Welcome back everybody to my channel. My name is Richard Macintyre, and if you're a new subscriber, welcome one and all, and if you're somebody who's normally catching up with me on a regular basis, welcome back. It's been a while actually since I've made a video. The last video I made was regarding the Blackview dash cam, and I'm going to give you an update about that later on. But on this occasion I just want to update you about how I'm getting on with the Decca Salon 73, and that's the machine that you've seen some videos on. I think I've done two. Back in April I did one, which is now firmly a piece of furniture in my office in the main house, and I've been working on trying to get some hinges for the nice doors that control the volume of that machine, and I've finally been able to source some. And had a discussion with the eBayer who was selling a HMV, I think it was a 156 cabinet, no innards in that at all, nothing at all whatsoever, just the cabinet. And I said, would you be prepared to sell me the hinges for that machine, because they're very similar, they're not the same, but they're very similar to the ones for the Decca Salon, which have broken, and I'll show you that in a minute. And she came back and said yes I would. So I paid I think I've just made a note here, £35 for those. That included the postage, which I don't think is bad considering they're an antique and over 80 years old, and you probably can't, I've not been able to source any since. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. I'm going to update you about where I am with the 118, Columbia 118 the grand tabletop machine, which I've now got a new and fitted a new tone arm, and I'm using a HMV number 4 sound box with that, and I want to see what you think, whether that's better than the one I had before. I think it is. I think it's more in keeping with the machine's historical originality. It won't be the same, but historical originality than before, so I want to update you about that. I'm then going to talk to you about, as I say, the Blackview update, the dash cam I got fitted to my Ford Mondeo, which is a front and back machine. And then I thought I'd talk to you about two other radios I purchased. One's the Sandstom DAB machine, which I bought some months ago, and then more recently I bought the Roberts Revival Mini, which I'm really pleased with, which I picked up when I went to stay at a hotel in where was it? In Reading, near Reading, and they had them as a bedside table radio, and I was really impressed, so I went out and purchased one. But I got one actually at a good price, not at the price in which you'd normally pay, because they're still being manufactured. So there's some of the snippets of what we'll be covering in this broadcast, in this video, but I've really got some really good comments back from people as well. Subscriptions are still up. We've got over 1,000 subscribers now. I know I'm not always on, I don't do a weekly vlog, I don't actually do much. I've been so busy over the summer. We've had some amazing heat waves here in the UK, up to 35, nearly 40 degrees centigrade has been the temperature. Today it's a cool 22 degrees here in Maidstone in Kent, and in fact we've had some rain this afternoon, which has been, would you believe, quite a nice relief. The other thing you might notice about me is that I've actually got a slight bruising on my face and my chin. Last Saturday I was out running and I tripped on some rough ground and went flat on my face, and damaged my running spectacles and gave myself a very nice deep bruise. This is much better now, and also on my chin I grazed it quite badly. I'm all right to say. I lay there for a few minutes thinking to myself, have I broken anything? And I hadn't, and so I just got straight up and carried on running. When I got home I realised there was blood all over my face, because I caught my glasses have caught the edge of my eye here, but glad to say I'm fine and nothing to worry about there. So able to bring you this, apart from my pride being slightly hurt, this video today, and even people back at the office in London have been quite kind. People are funny, they either don't mention it. One lady said she thought I'd had an operation. I'm not sure what sort of operation, but hey ho. And others either just ignore the comment or just say, you know, are you okay? So I think that's quite sweet, really. But one of the dangers of when you are out running on rough ground, of course, you can easily trip up. And I think, to be fair, I'd had a really busy week before, probably was a bit tired and just caught my step, as they say. In so much so that even last week, that's the week just going, last Sunday I was up in Oxford for 2 days, and then I was then back here, back to the office in London, and then off to Worcestershire on Friday. And because of the train delays, I was home quite late, so I did a 13-14 hour day that day, so being quite busy. Having said that, I was down at Margate yesterday with a friend of mine, so that was quite nice as well. Sun was out, and so yeah, it's great time down there for 2018 Gay Pride, which was great, and went with a friend of mine, Tom, who works at the office as well. So we had a really good, nice carnival atmosphere, plenty of people there, and so yeah, it was a good day out, and travelled back there from the good old Thanet, as it were, but had a good time. So without further ado, I thought I'd just update you about where we are with the 118, the Decca Salon. So let me just take Mr. GoPro off his stand. I'm using the microphone this afternoon, so do have to just be a bit careful we don't upset too many things here. So I'm just going to take this off here. Just bear with me a minute. I will do that, and I'm going to play you a record as well. But before then, let's just have a look at the 118. So here we go. We've got the new tone arm. This is the Columbia type tone arm, and what I've done is I've painted the plinth. It sits slightly higher. Actually, I haven't got the old one to show you, but you'll remember from previous videos of this machine that it sits slightly lower than this, and it was slightly smaller in its coverage. This covers the internal horn much better. So and then I fitted a HMV number 4 box. One of these ones I had to repair. You may remember that I had to do some repair work on here, so that it was in quite a bad way. The metal alloy they use for these machines tends to be I don't know, it's like monk's metal, I suppose you'd call it. It's an alloy basically. So yeah, on there. But anyway, this, I think it sounds okay. I haven't got a Columbia box to play with it, but I think HMV made some really good sound boxes. I'm going to play you a record on the Imperial label. This is an electric recording, and it's by Jack Gordon. And Jack's going to be singing along with his orchestra here, orchestral accompaniment, Good Night Sweetheart. And we all know that, of course, that Al Bowley did a rendition of this quite famously. And but enjoy and let me know what you think, and then we'll chat afterwards. So I'm just going to set this off. Here we go.
The day's ending and its cares and woes, so soon in sweet repose, will fade and die. And when tomorrow comes here, let's forget each little vain regret that makes us both unhappy. Good night, sweetheart, all my prayers are for you. Good night, sweetheart, I'll be watching o'er you. Tears and parting may make us forlorn, but with the dawn a new day is born. So I'll say good night, sweetheart. Sleep will banish sorrow. Good night, sweetheart.
we go. So there's no automatic brake with this machine, so we'll have to turn it off, as it were. Anyway, there we go. That was Jack Gordon, and Good Night Sweetheart. Just to let you know, I'm also experimenting with a microphone stand here. So I'm using the external microphone, which I think is doing quite well, and I'm also using this, what was a music stand, to help with the sound quality somewhat. The external microphone, as I call it, actually works very well, and so it gives a better sound quality, it gives a louder sound quality, so hopefully you're noticing that difference. And but anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Let me know your comments in the comments box. Now, with the doors that go on the front of the Decca Salon 73, these are the two doors, and we've talked about this before, the hinges on these were broken. Two of them were, anyway. So let me just dig those out. Where are they gone? Oh yes, here we go. Right, bear with me a second. Right, these are the hinges, and I talked about this a while back. Well, you can see where the broken bit is there, and so they've completely snapped off, really, and there's no way that I can repair that. I did look into that, and so one door has got hinges that do work, and one door hasn't. So I was desperately trying to source some. I found some here. They're not quite the same. Two of these have a restrainer on, so when this door would be open, this little bit in the middle would actually stop the door opening more than if you imagine the door was closed and then opening in this direction, it would just make sure the door stayed open. In that, the doors on the machine that I've got don't need that, so they will fold right back. So I can use the second or the first set of these, which will be, let me just go here a second, I think they're these. So what happens is that I'll have to make some adjustment and fit them to the top and bottom, and what I'll have to do is to recess in, take a piece out of this edging here and then fit them on. That's what I have to do. I've got that to do. That's a piece of work I've got to do very gently. As I say, one side is fine. I'll just show you that. This one here, you can see where they're fitting quite nicely, and that's the bit that's broken on there. It's broken on that bit, so that will fit. These fit. So this door will be the, if you like, the master door to make sure that everything's lined up, and the other end is okay as well. But the other two, this one I've got to do some adjustment with, and you can see I'll fill in that piece and then obviously cut it back on the top, because they're top loaded as opposed to side loaded, so I'll have to fill them with some wood filler. The other thing I'm doing at the moment, I've got to do, just move those out of the way, I need to complete, is the top. This needs all rubbing down, and this is the final piece really, of which I've got everything ready to go on that. So that's another job to be done. So it is coming along. It's being done in a bit of slow time, because with work and everything else, you know, it's a tour de force really. There's only so much energy one has got in a day, and you want to do all the other things in your life as well. So, and I've got a couple of weeks coming up, holiday soon, the week after next. One of those weeks I'm going to spend at home. The other week I'm going to be spending in Cambridge at a place called March. So I'm doing, as you may have heard before, I'm doing a paramotoring course. I'm doing a few days up there, getting a bit more time under my belt with Nigel from the UK PGG school, and because of the agreement we have, I can't video there at all, because of really it's about security and making sure that the equipment is safe when we're not on the airfield. So I've signed an agreement that says I can't video unless it's put onto the closed Facebook page that we have. So that's why you don't hear anything from me on that front, sadly. But however, later on that may be changed. So they're just a quick an update really. I'm now going to talk to you about the Blackview dash cam camera, and also the Roberts Revival radio and the Sandstom. So I'm just going to stop the video now and then see you in a mo, as they say. Well, welcome back one and all, and this is the second part of this video where I said I was going to give you an update about the Blackview DR750S 2 channel, and here you can see the handbook that comes with this machine and a bit of kit, and also at the bottom you can see the rear camera. This is the smaller of the two. You can see that on the instructions there, the quick start guide as it were. Now, I fitted this back in June, and I did a review which some of you may have probably seen. If you haven't, do have a look at that, because I was quite ecstatic about it and thought what a wonderful piece of kit it is. There was something amiss though. When I drove away from Helford's in Maidstone, which is the at Aylesford Business Park, because I tuned my radio, my DAB radio that is, to heat radio, and immediately it started sounding like I was in the good old washing machine. That scrabbling sound that you get, I can only describe it as a scrabbling sound because it sounds like somebody's, washing their mouth out with some Listerine or something, mouthwash. And I thought, okay, so I carried on, and it kept dropping out all the way back home, which is only about 1.5 miles, and I thought, that seems odd to me. But anyway, I dismissed it. I thought it must be just the way the weather is today or something, because DAB has an effect sometimes of dropping out quite regularly. But my Mondeo has never done that. It's never, and Ford maintained that the several aerials in that car, not an external one, it's inside. You don't have a stick aerial sticking out anywhere, or a small nub thing either at the top. So, gave it no more thought. And then I had some more problem. There's inside, there's a parking mode for this piece of kit, which came well recommended on YouTube by by one of the reviewers there. And the Blackview uses Power Magic Pro. This allows you to set the timings at which, in parking mode, you want to, the length of time you wanted the camera to run. That's back and front, either infinity, or you can have it for 12 hours, 24 hours, 36, or infinity. So, but I didn't touch anything. It's left under the dashboard. You can't see it, and there's a little on-off switch. So when the power down happens, when you turn your ignition off, you just switch it to the on position, and the Power Magic box kicks in. It then allows, basically, it's a voltage regulator, because if your battery should drop below a certain point, it will then turn it off. Where normally speaking, in the normal mode, as soon as you switch the ignition off, some minutes later, Blackview will say powering down. It has a voice, a Japanese type voice that speaks to you and says that. But when you do this, it overrides that. But anyway, I was out one evening with friends, and I thought I'd set it. It was along a main road that had parking at the side, which was free parking. So I was in amongst other cars, and I thought, well, this is the opportunity for me to use it. So I switched it on, but I noticed that the LED light, which is here on this diagram, didn't come on. I thought, Anyway, I put it in the on position and left it. And then after the evening was over with and I got home, I then checked the camera viewings and found that it hadn't been on parking mode at all. So it had failed me. So, okay, so I thought this is very odd. So I then booked it back into Helford's, and Adam, who is an extremely helpful young man, came out and we looked at it, and I explained the problem to him. I'd already phoned up and had a chat with their engineering side, very helpful staff there, and we took out the cabling, which is this in here, all the cabling from the front to the back, because my theory is that this cabling is not screened enough and is interfering, the electromagnetic waves are interfering with the DAB radio, which is quite sensitive. It turned out that we took all of this stuff, and why it's in this bag is this Helford's bag is because it's got some mastic stuff that Ford used to seal the edges of the car with the door rubbers, and it'll go everywhere, so we put it in a bag. But even when this cable was lying inside the vehicle, not attached to anything, it still interfered with the radio broadcast on any channel. It wasn't just heat radio or that I was into in London. It was any channel that Radio 4, even Classic FM, and the strongest signals were still dropping out. So then I disconnected it, and we proved that the radio kicked straight in afterwards, so there was no problem. So there is a problem with two problems with this at all. First of all, that Blackview Power Magic Pro doesn't work, and Adam confirmed that he's had several of these returned, and he's told Power Magic that it doesn't work and that it's not fit for purpose. When you consider that I've paid over £400 for this, it's not good enough. And also that it interferes with DAB radio. So the upshot of this is that I've been driving around with just the front camera running with a line direct into the cigarette lighter, which works, but obviously doesn't give you rear camera action. I did say to Adam that, well, wouldn't it be just for me to keep the front camera? And he said, well, it's not, you paid all that money, it's not really what it's intended for. So when I go back tomorrow, that's Monday the 13th of August, not a Friday, you'll be pleased to know, to have it fitted, they will take out this piece of kit. They will then remove the front camera, and then we will experiment with a new camera by Halfords called Next-Base Dash Camera, which is this one, and we will try that. This has a rear camera with it, but the screening is much better, so we'll experiment with that to see whether it works or not. I also noticed that today in the Car Express magazine that the Garmin are doing one as well, it seems that Halfords also are doing the same thing. So if I just bring that up on the screen, this is the Garmin, but this is only a front-forward camera. So at the end of the day, this looks quite good actually. It's got a polarized lens as well, which keeps all the glare out. I might decide to have this one as well. You can see there that it's fitted. It's quite inintrusive, so would probably fit. It's also got lane departure warning. It's got a forward collision warning. And also, it looks a nice piece of kit, about the size of a GoPro, I suppose, which I'm filming this on with you today. So, and it also has some additional wiring. So I might decide on that, or I will go for the one that Adam suggested, that is Next-Base, which is also does similar things, really. So we'll see. But it's a bit of a sad tale, really, as well. So I'm hoping that at the end of the day, that we'll be able to see what the video says anyway. I'll just leave it for a few seconds. Anyway, it's got the same type of arrangement. It's got 440p HD, where the other was a 1080, I think it was. So there's similar things. I would be interested to know actually what people think of the Blackview. If you've got a Blackview fitted to your car, front and back, that is, I would be interested to know in the comments box what you think, or afterwards, because clearly it's been a bit of a misadventure for me, and obviously all I wanted to do was ensure that I had something that fitted, which was fit for purpose on that basis. So I'll be interested to hear from anyone who's back that. And obviously Halfords are doing their best. I have to say that I take my hat off to Adam, who is a very nice young chap who's come from Poland. He's actually on holiday at the moment, so the manager is going to be fitting his camera tomorrow. Halfords have been extremely helpful over this, and clearly they've got a product which doesn't, he's had several years of experience, this young man, but several products he's returned, which is a bit of a bummer really when you think of it, and as it's got a bit sketchy, as they say. But anyway, just thought I'd update you on that one. The other thing I was going to talk to you about this afternoon, to move these bits out of the way here for a second, is about those two radios I purchased really. One is the this one here, which is the Sandstom portable DAB radio, the one on the left, not the right, because I'm going to talk about that in a second. I've actually fitted this to an iPhone stand here so that you can see it better. It comes in this amazing box. It almost reminds me of Apple really, because it comes in this very smart box. I paid £32.98 for this, and it was as new basically. It was very good. It was all security tabbed up and everything, and I got it from eBay, and I've been very impressed. The reason I thought this radio would be good was because it had good reviews, and also I'd seen as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'd been out to a conference in Reading, and the place I stayed, they had the Roberts, this one here that I'm going to talk to you about later, the Revival one, as a bedside radio. However, this radio is a lot cheaper. The Roberts, I think, retails for over £100. This one retails for a lot less than that. So without further ado, it comes with its own instruction booklet as well, which is quite comprehensive. It does all the things that DAB radios do, but so I did just switch them on. So you switch it on by pressing this knob here, with any luck. There we go. And then it should fire up. And I've got it tuned to Classic FM. Band of Brothers, okay. So, and it has the usual scroll along the top there. You can actually ask for info. So if I press the info button, you've got the signal strength, what it is it's playing, light classical. It's a national station. The frequency at which we're playing at. The 11D is the zone in which it's in, and 64 megahertz. Signal error, there's none, and it's on 128 kb bits a minute, and it's a dub signal. And we've got 84 whatever of battery strength left, because it has a rechargeable battery. It doesn't take external batteries, but it can take mains, and it comes with this mains adapter, which I normally take with me when I go away. I'm using that one. I've taken it to Cambridge with me once on my paramotoring course, where the bed and breakfast I was staying at, and it was really effective. And then what else we've got here? Oh, the volume control, which is what you've got there, and also you've got the time. Whoops. There we go, 15:48. So when you plug it in, it lights up. So obviously it stays in this slightly green effect to my eyesight. And also it's got stereo here. There's a stereo that you're receiving there. The only downside is because you can't see the screen unless you tilt it. So if it's under normal circumstances, it would normally be here. You have to peer over the top. But apart from that, the speaker is at the front here, and it produces a really good output of sound.
Bit of EastEnders from way back with all our favourite characters, Dirty Den
Good
and
tone
Angie,
as well.
Rolly the dog, remember him? Well, they were all in that first episode back in 1985. I can remember vividly.
So really nice radio set. So I would recommend that one. But the only thing is I'd be inclined to sort of have some sort of tilting system, as you just can't see what the clock is if you're not, and also what station you're on. So that's that one. You press the button here to turn it off. Stand by. So that's a really good set. Oops, oh dear, sorry. The other one, also just to say that it comes like a fabric sides here. So you've got like a fabric and a plastic top for fabric sides. And if you just compare it with the Roberts, it's much smaller than the Roberts radio is. It's much more compact. It's actually heavier though, and I was going to weigh them, but that's a lot heavier because it's got a lithium battery in there to keep this. The Roberts is much lighter, though it's more bulky, but we'll come to talk about that in a second. So that's the Sandstom DAB radio, SFP-DAB17, DAB I suppose. And I bought that, as you can see, for £32.98 from eBay, and it was starting a bid at £27.99, and I think it was I bought that and won that one, so that's very good. Comes, as I say, in this really expensive box. It was a new in box for me, and so quite good. The other one, which I'm really keen on, is the Roberts Revival, Mini Revival. Now I came across this bad boy, when I was staying in up at near Reading. And I just lost my train of thought then, Reading. And they were bedside radios in this lovely mansion house that I was staying in for a conference with the National Care Forum, who we're members of at Friends of the Elderly. And I was a bit sceptical. I thought, well, DAB radios, they don't have any tone control and they all sound a bit funny, don't they? So this is where the story started for me. And because these were so expensive to buy on eBay, I was lucky enough to get this one for £64, I think it was, down from over £100. I just won it. I thought, well, I've tried it. And the first thing I did was I was getting up in the morning and I pushed the on button. And this is also tuned to Classic FM. I normally read to Radio 4. And again, it's got a really good, strong signal strength. The features on here are that you've got DAB FM, auto tune, favourites. You can have favourites. So if I press the favourite button, it will tune back to Radio 4.
Good evening, ladies and
And then when you press this, you do the knob,
as you know, the body of Miss Elżbieta Budnik was
and then
found
you
in
can
a
go
ravine
back
beside the
to
State Archive. A homicide
Classic. Press that again, and it will then put it onto Classic. You've got info, so it does the same thing as the other one. So you've got the DAB D11D, 64 megahertz, 128 bits per minute, and it's a DAB radio, and also the signal strength. You can do presets as well on here, which I haven't done. This one does have its own batteries, but it has an extra feature, is that you can set it with ordinary batteries. That means the normal type of NiCad type, or you can have ordinary ones which you can dispose of. But you have the NiCad, you just push the switch over, and it will recharge them for you, and then give you an indicator. There's an indicator light here as to whether the batteries are getting a bit low. So it has an extra feature there, and as I say, it has this very nice carrying handle. That one doesn't have that. Sound quality is, I think they're fairly matched actually. So if you listen to this one, I'll switch this one on. And then I turn that down. It's probably difficult to judge because you'll listen to this through, though it's through a stereo microphone. I think that sounds slightly better, the Roberts. It's got a bigger speaker, and it's the tone on this is slightly nicer. And I was away in Oxfordshire in an area that is a Wi-Fi not spot and not very good for signal, and this radio actually performed extremely well. I had the area fully extended, and I was able to listen to John Humphreys in the morning very well, and I was in the shower, and a good tone. It's a radio you want to listen to. It doesn't hurt your ears. With some DABs you can get that they hurt your ears a bit, and you think, oh, it's a bit pitchy. These two aren't. I think these are really good, but I'll be interested to know what people think. Also, the Roberts, what I did, because it came as an eBay not in box, I downloaded all the information from the internet. So I've got an instruction booklet for this one, and also for the other one, which came with that, of course. And the Roberts comes with a bigger brick plug Okay, the Sandstom comes with a slightly smaller and reminds me of an iPhone type charger. The same sort of jacks at the end there. So, but I'd be interested to know what you think, actually, what your views are on these two, and whether you agree with me that the Roberts slightly outperforms the Sandstorm, but only just. So, anyway, don't forget to push that bell at the bottom of the video, and also the like button if you like what you've seen. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and it's nice to have you aboard. I do a range of things within my videos, mainly radios and gramophones, but there are other things that happens too. And so I look forward to your comments, and I've had some, as I said, lots of comments recently which I've then answered. I try and answer them all. If I can't get back to you straight away, I apologise for that. I visited the War and Peace Revival show at which was at the hop farm near Tunbridge recently, so I'm hoping to do a video on that. It'll be quite short because there was quite a lot of wind noise and I forgot to take the microphone with the wind deflectors with me, but I'll see what I think about that. But look forward to your comments, and speak to you all very soon, and take care.